accomplish here at our Stranger Refuge is a different Sunday morning experience. We are a Bible-based ministry, but we're hoping that it will create a space where people feel safe taking their masks off.
We're going to be doing food every Sunday, so come and get fed spiritually and in your tummy. Rasmussen, Andrew's wife. Snacks for the kids.
Food shop. Our fun ticket. Yes, kids snacks.
Good morning. Welcome to Earth Stranger Refuge. My name is Andrew Rasmussen. Thank you for joining us this morning. Okay, so Earth Stranger Refuge, we are just a little bit about us. We're a Christ-centered ministry. We believe that Jesus was everything he said he was. We believe he was the way, the truth, and the life. And we believe that a person who experiences him as the truth, their life can be transformed. But we believe also that no one's going to be transformed unless somebody shares with them that truth. So that's what we do here, is share that truth with what we call truth talks. They're similar to a TED Talk, but they are people's experiences of God and how knowing Jesus as the truth has revealed some sort of lie in their life. This month so far, since we celebrated Independence Day, we are discussing freedom. So we talked about how to be free from depression, and this week my truth talk will be about how to be free from being ready. So before I start, let me just pray first. Please join me. Dear Lord, I want to thank you for this morning and thank you for this ministry. I want to thank you most of all for revealing your truth to us so that we can be freed from any lies that hold us back from pursuing your purposes for our lives. Please open all our eyes, ears, and hearts this morning to hear your truth and expose anything that's holding each of us back. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen. So this morning, not just this morning, but today is my wife and I's 1-year anniversary. Happy anniversary. Me personally, there's been a lot of change this past year. It's kind of just been a year of transition. 1 year ago today, we were married. I simultaneously became a stepfather. My stepdaughter then started kindergarten a couple weeks later. I partnered with my wife to become a business owner a couple weeks after that, and then we launched this ministry as well. So that's just a few. There are more things, but those are some major life transitions that occurred for me just this past year. I also turned 30, so I'm more credible and reputable now by society standards. Each one of those things, I was not ready for. The marriage terrified me in some ways. I knew it was something I wanted and most importantly God wanted, but it was scary. It's a huge commitment. And I have historically been known to have major commitment issues. I will drag my feet as long as possible before I commit to something. It scared me. I didn't feel ready. I also did not feel ready to be a father. That is terrifying. Suddenly being a 24/7 role model for somebody who's watching you intently. I was not ready for that. I was not ready to be my daughter's teacher at home. When she comes home from school, there's a whole gamut of things that fall on us as parents to make sure they're doing, keeping them up to date and on track with everything they're learning. I was not ready for that. I was not even ready to turn 30. I didn't feel like I was successful enough, or that I had achieved what I believe a 30-year-old should look like or have succeeded by that time. I didn't feel ready to be 30. I feel like a lot of responsibility happens when you turn 30. There's no more excuses. When you're in your 20s, you can kind of get away with being a little irresponsible, but when you hit 30, everybody kind of expects that you are a mature adult. At least that's the way I viewed it. So I was not ready to get married. I did not feel ready to be a father. I did not feel ready to turn 30. I did not feel ready to become a business owner. I don't have any business background at all. So even entering a career in business, I did not feel ready for. But now instead I'm a business owner. I did not feel ready for that. I wasn't. I'm still not. I could speak at length just about all the requirements of knowledge that I need to have just in the business side of my life that I do not have. A year ago, if you would have asked me how our revenue was doing, I would have said, what's revenue? Or, oh, what's our target market? What is that? Not to mention all the minute intricacies of business. I didn't even know the basics of numbers or anything. So I did not feel ready for that. I also did not feel ready to launch this ministry. When the church we were attending closed and God pressed on us to start our own thing, I did not feel ready at all. Unqualified. Scary. So that's kind of the background. That's kind of the lie that's been in my life. Having to feel ready and then not starting anything until I feel ready. The truth of the matter is, I will never be ready for any of those things. There's not some checkpoint that you reach that a bell goes off and the whole town is alerted that you're ready for whatever area it is that you just reached that checkpoint. It doesn't happen. You're never ready. There's always something to learn. There's always something scary ahead of you. Some sort of uncertainty. So my marriage this past year has been amazing overall, but there's been a lot of ugliness as well. We've had to learn how to get along with each other. Not just as newlyweds, but as parents, business owners, ministry leaders, but we're doing it. I'm doing it. So I'm not ready. I wasn't ready. But I'm doing it. It's kind of another lie that goes along with the feeling ready, or feeling qualified, or credible, or accomplished. Part of that lie is success. Now I'm going to refer a little bit more to our business life right now, because in those circles you always hear a lot about what does success mean to you. In order to be successful in business, you have to figure out what success means to you. So I'm always like, oh, that's a really great question. It's really profound. It's really deep. That's a good angle to take. What does success mean to me? For me, it's not usually money. It's not usually status. It's usually time. Time with my wife. Time with my daughter. Time to create more art. Time for self-improvement. And all those things seem good. I feel really good when I come up with those answers. I'm like, I nailed it. I am going to be successful because I don't care about material stuff that much. The weird thing about that, or the inaccurate part about that, is that's my standard of success. You're in a room where there's dozens of people being asked that same question, and everybody's idea is different. So how are we ever ready to meet anybody's idea of success? On a more important note, what is God's definition of success? I had to ask myself, what is God's definition of success? What does it matter what my definition of success is? If I'm living to honor God, don't I want to shoot for His definition of success? So I kind of think this through. What would God's definition of success be? You could go to maybe obvious answers like, oh, bringing people to the Lord, saving people's souls, bringing them to church. How many lives do you affect? But that's not really measurable, and it's not equitable, because not everybody is going to save or lead the same number of people to the Lord, or bring the same number of people to church. So does that make them unsuccessful in God's eyes? No. I don't think so. God is our perfect Father. I believe success to Him is not whether we do well at something at all. It's if we do it at all. And that hinges on obedience to His nudging. As a father, when you nudge your child to do something, it's not to harm them, it's to teach them, train them, show them some skill that they have that they are not aware of, and to build trust between you and them. I believe God deems success as how obedient we are to Him.
Amen.
So the lie of feeling ready will never happen. We are never ready. Attached to that lie is this feeling of a certain level of success we're supposed to reach over here if we ever get ready sometime over here. This will never happen, therefore this will never happen. However, if we're over here, if I'm over here, God's telling me to propose to my girlfriend, commit to her and her daughter, be a father, be a husband, be a business owner, start a ministry. I'm not ready. He's nudging me to do this. So I'm doing it, scared, like this. That's how I kind of go through life. That's not a very successful posture. But all of a sudden, here I am, a year later, over here, when I started out, over here, unqualified, scared to death, and I didn't want to move. So I look back at just this past year, and this does not even include the other 29 years of my life before that. Just this past year has been enough to show me, if I had no other time of existence before that, just this past year has been enough to show me that you don't have to be ready, and that you will never be ready to move forward. And that success is not meeting a certain standard. Success is not one big thing that you achieve. Success is small victories of obedience blazed forward despite uncertainty and fear. So I am encouraged today because this past year has been terrifying for me on many fronts, almost every day. However, like I said, here I am a year later, victorious. Been a year of victory. Small, personal victories. So this uncertainty and this fear of feeling ready, it doesn't leave, okay? I don't want you to think that I've reached this checkpoint that I told you doesn't exist, because I have not. Because this uncertainty and this need to feel ready, it's still there. Right up until last night. Right up until this morning, before this talk, I did not feel ready. I did not want to give this talk. I didn't feel ready. It was scary. However, I didn't feel ready. It was scary. However, I made a commitment to God to be here and to speak. So here I am, with who knows how much time ahead of me, but a lot of things I'm not ready for. A lot of uncertainty. But because I believe that God's definition of success is obedience, you can bet I'm going that way. I will not go that way. And because I believe God's definition of success, obedience, is the only one that matters above everyone else's and above even mine, it doesn't matter if anybody in the outside world for the rest of my life ever acknowledges what I do as successful. Because I know I am personally taking tiny steps of obedience, each one a major victory, because it's this way. Every tiny step this way, major victory. It's not accumulation. It's tiny things. So God is calling me to something great. I believe He's calling you to something great. You will never be ready. You will never be ready. And you will never be successful because your idea of success doesn't matter. And that's the truth. Join us next week, Truth Talk. It'll hopefully have the result of other people feeling safe and vulnerable enough to share their own truth talk and create relationships and share their story. So please come back next week and join us.
So see you next Sunday! Woo!
What we're trying to accomplish here at our Stranger Refuge is we're hoping to create a space where people feel safe taking their masks off.
Come and get fed spiritually and in your tummy.
But there's been a lot of ugliness as well.